Hi lads, Princey's nominated me for this set of questions, um, so I'll just get into them. Um, as you know, I support Arsenal. My dad's been supporting them since 1970. He just bought a packet of cards with different league clubs on, and he just liked the look of Arsenal and started supporting them. Um, Back then, they were quite an average team, playing scrappy football, finishing mid-table every season, and yeah, but he stuck by them, and no, I never really looked back. I've been lucky enough to see them win the league in '98 and win the FA Cup in 2015. So I would like to see them win the Champions League one day, but I've still been lucky enough to see them win stuff live. So yeah, it's good. The first game I went to see, it was apparently QPR. We beat them 4-1 in about 1993 or something. I was about 4 years old. I can't remember that, to be honest. And the first game I remember going to was it was actually Oldham away, and it was 0-0, and it must have been a cup game. And yeah, that's the first game I went to see that I visually remember. So yeah, not the most exciting game for your first one. The first tournament I remember, Euro '96. England got to the semi-final and went out on penalties against Germany. It was the year that UK hosted the tournament, and Gareth Southgate missed the final one, I think. So yeah, that was the first tournament I remember. First one that I could have a legal pint, that would have been Euro 2008, but I remember in the World Cup in 2006, I don't know where it was, could have been Italy. Italy won it. I don't know where Euro 2000, the World Cup was in 2006, but I remember drinking then, although I was underage, at the old New Inn in Llambothlin with Simon. It was a time where the Workhouse Festival was on in Llambothlin, and I just remember we popped down for the quarter final. I think England played Portugal, and they went out on penalties. But the pub was rocking, and me and Simon were just drinking underage and loving it. So that one, well, that's not legal, but you know. Most hated team. It's got to be Spurs. I mean, I've been to an Arsenal Spurs game at Highbury, and I went to a Spurs Arsenal game at White Hart Lane, and it's just pretty gruesome, to be honest. It's well, not gruesome, but it's very hostile. You do see violence, and it's just felt quite dangerous, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if it's still as bad as what it was then, but yeah, it's just seeing the fans so angry towards us like that is just stuck in my mind to this day. And it's got to be Spurs. I don't like Man United either, but I can admit that's more to do with jealousy because of what they've won, and fair play to them. But yeah, Spurs. Player from that team that I'd have, if that's now, I would go for Son. Yeah, I think he's probably the most technically gifted player. I really like him. If it's in the past, and I always liked Defoe, Van der Vaart. I'm a big fan of him. Great player for Spurs. So I'd go Van der Vaart for the past player from them. Favourite Arsenal player, past and present. Favourite past player. I'm lucky enough to witness some great players at Arsenal, but my first one was Ian Wright, just because I wanted to play up front. And as a kid, you look up to the ones that are scoring the goals, and Ian Wright was just such a good finisher and a big personality as well. and his celebrations when I used to go to Highbury as a kid when he scored, they just stick in your mind. He was just full of life, and he always made me so happy. So I'd say Ian Wright. Obviously, you got to shout out Henry. Like, I've seen him play. He was just out of this world. He really was. He made players look ridiculous, and Bergkamp as well in a different way. Yeah, Tony Adams, like, what a centre back. But yeah, favourite one, Ian Wright of the past. Present, it's quite a difficult one for me to pick a present Arsenal player. I quite like some of the youngsters coming through, Saka and Martinelli. It's one thing exciting about being an Arsenal fan at the moment is there's quite a lot of good young players. You know, you got Reece Nelson, Willock, Maitland-Niles as well. My favourite player at the moment is probably Martinelli. I think he's a really good striker. I can see him having a great career. Hope he stays with Arsenal for a long time. Yeah, the youngsters at Arsenal at the moment probably make me more excited than the experienced ones, to be honest. So yeah, favourite player of all time. Sorry for the pause. I'm just trying to think who's my favourite player of all time. I think probably Zidane is quite an obvious one to go for, but Zinedine Zidane. Oh God, what a midfield maestro he was. Unbelievable. Yeah, I think I don't really need to say much about him. We all know he was the best player in the world for quite a few years. Worst ground I ever went to was probably Oakwell, Barnsley. It was pissing it down. That's obviously not the ground's fault, but it was chucking it down. No roof in the away end. Arsenal won 3-0. Just around the ground was quite horrible, the housing and stuff. And yeah, it was just not a very nice place. So I had a friend when I was in Greece that was from Barnsley and he supported Barnsley, and I always used to make fun of him for how bad the place Barnsley seemed. But, you know, it probably isn't that bad, but the stadium wasn't very nice. So yeah, Oakwell. Best game that's not my team. Sounds a bit contradicting because I obviously said before I don't like the club, but it's probably last season when Spurs went away to Ajax and won 3-2. Despite losing the first leg, they were also 2-0 down away at Ajax, and then Lucas Moura got that hat-trick. I just thought, hats off to them. That was a sensational comeback. You've got to have so much belief to pull that off, and yeah, what a victory. I'm glad they didn't win the final. Obviously that would have been really painful, but yeah, for the semi-final, kudos, you know, fair play. Yeah, that's all my questions done, and I'll nominate someone. I'll go for Dean Becker. I enjoyed his last video, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him answer the questions. See you, lads.